This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
Hey, welcome back to Party Loaded. It is Wednesday, the 7th of September. Sitting here with the team as per usual. We have myself, Luke Ritalik. We have Ollie. How you doing?
Hello, I'm sick.
You're
it's
sick.
Great.
So continuing
Of you,
with
Luke.
the...
I'm sick of you.
Sick of me. Well, bunker down because you're going to get through about another 90 minutes of me. And as is Jam. No. Jam, you're also feeling sick. You're slightly less sick than last week. You were sort of, red alert plague level.
I'm on the tail end of the plague.
Tail end of the plague. All right.
I'm at the start end. It's great.
Party fever.
Yep. Imogen's nice and healthy though, aren't you?
Hi. Yep. I'm good.
You
I've
good?
recovered from the plague.
You recovered from the plague?
Yeah.
Yep. But you do have the fever, don't you? The PAX fever. How many days out are we now?
We are 57 days away, which is less than 2 months.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Awesome. No, the reason why I bring up PAX Oz is because, of course, PAX West was last weekend just gone. So we got to see lots of cool internet and Twitch stream coverage of the events going on there. Stacks of stuff going on at the indie mega booth as well. There's a lot of new sort of indie games that I'm keen to put a bit of time checking out as time goes on. And did you guys happen to see the coverage of the final round of the Omegathon at PAX West this year?
I've only seen the announcement. It looked amazing. But yeah, I've still got to watch the whole thing.
Super cool. So
What
Super
game did they
Mario
pick?
3 Wizard Mode. Playing that, that was some serious nostalgia for that game right there. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And slightly non-video game related, but I'm going to say this for any D&D fans that may be listening. Listen and watch the live Acquisitions Incorporated show that they did at PAX West this year. It was amazing. So good. Chris Perkins was on his game. And Imogen, you've watched most, if not all of that.
I think there's been better ones, but I thought it was still amazing. They're all amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was super cool. So, yeah, lots of stuff
More
going on.
Binwin. There wasn't enough Binwin in this one.
No, that's true. And there was no double axe to the face moment. That would have been kind of cool. But, yeah, it was good. It was good. Meanwhile, we've all been deep down the World of Warcraft rabbit hole. Well, 3 of us anyway. Ollie's the last remaining holdout.
I watched a lot of cutscenes and read a lot of lore, so I know what happens.
Okay, nice.
Great.
Like I played it without the
Don't
tedium.
spoil it.
Without the tedium. Well, shall we start with you then before we sink knee deep into Legion chat? What's been going on in the Ollie gaming world? You've been doing some Overwatching with Season 2?
I played Overwatch.
Yep. So
The end. That's my short story.
well, that's not really the end. I mean, specifically, you've been
No, it's true.
doing the new stuff. So
It's true. There is a new competitive season that I played, and the last 2 nights I've had my dick punched in. It's been great.
Oh,
I'm glad it's not just me that happens when I'm online.
So yeah, I'm going to have to do some serious full try-hard mode games to get myself back to where I need to be.
I'm just going to say I'm glad it's not you too, Imogen, for other more genetic reasons, but sure. No.
No, it's just usually like if Ollie jumps into a competitive match with me, we don't win. So, we're on a bad streak.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
hang on.
so
You
I'm
go
bad
on a
luck.
bad streak whenever you play with Ollie, and Ollie's just been saying he's been having a terrible losing streak the last few nights. I think Ollie's the common factor here, Imogen. It's actually not you
Well,
at all.
that's what I said. Like, I'm glad it's not just me being like bad juju. Maybe there's something else going on.
Yep.
You need to put on your focusing hat and bring up that average, because none of us are going
True.
to reach the lofty heights of Diamond. Or
I'm
maybe
at the
Jam.
mercy
Jam
of
could.
Blizzard matchmatching at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
That is
don't know.
true.
I think for my qualifying, I think I'm at 5-2 5-2 or 5-3?
I think
Wins.
5-2.
5-2?
So for anyone playing at home who's not familiar with the process, when the competitive season in Overwatch starts, you have to do 10 placement games, and that sort of determines the rank that you kick off at before you sort of get into the competitive season proper. And Ollie and Jam and I had a sensational start to our placement matches. We won the first 3 straight, and then everything went downhill.
Nom,
When
nom,
Imogen
nom, nom.
started doing her competitive matches.
And the best part was, I had 2 left. Everyone went off. I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to win my last 2 rounds. And I did. Fuck you all.
You just decided you were going to win and you went and gone done it.
Yeah, I went full try hard mode.
Well, I'm at 3 and 1, but that's 3 losses and 1 win.
Oh,
So,
So,
Ruh-roh.
yeah. So
That-
I think my level at the end will just be like potato.
Yeah.
Or cotton. If cotton's a thing. I don't know.
Yep.
Nickel?
You get the
Is
participation
nickel a
ribbon?
level?
I
You
think
get
it's probably
the ribbon level.
probably likely to be coal, because then with enough pressure you might actually finally make it to diamond, possibly.
I would not be surprised if it's like, you have ranked, like, drum roll, please, participant.
And you get a like printable certificate you can print it off at the end of the
tried
season.
real hard.
Yeah.
This is to certify that Imogen put all of her heart into all of
She
her matches.
definitely queued for 10 games.
Yep.
Can confirm.
Oh no. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, the new map's super cool though. The Eichenwald map. Have you guys played
it's so awesome.
a bunch of games on that? Yeah.
Yep,
Only
it's
one
fucking
is super
cool.
confused.
Love it.
It was
My
good.
favorite
I
part
love
of
the
that
shit out of it.
entire map is there's a giant bridge that sort of leads up to the castle door, where you have to basically sort of push the battering ram up to open the door and get into the final area. And that bridge is the best kill zone ever if you've got an ability that knocks players away from a point. You just knock them
could
off into nothingness. It is
Practically
great.
hear Luke jizzing every time he knocked someone off.
Man, it was good.
Horrifying.
That's so disgusting.
Oh god, there's another one.
Why is he Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, he transforms from Egyptian rocket goddess to Mickey Mouse every time he knocks someone off.
1950s Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
God, laughing is not healthy for me right now.
Sorry,
get Mickey
Jen.
Mouse
I'm not
voice with
going
a
to be
sore
able to
throat.
talk by the end of this. I'm glad I have a mute button.
Awesome.
We all are, to be fair.
I'm a little disappointed that Eichenwald, it's not as vertical as I expected. I honestly thought that second half, once you breached the gate, was going to involve you getting up to a point or something. So,
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to praise it for. I was about to praise how vertical the map was.
it's not that vertical.
I think there's a lot of elevated positions that you can get up to if you're not a flyer. So good for characters like Anna, who doesn't have really any movement enhancing abilities, and as a sniper you want to be able to get up to good lines of fire. She's got a lot of places that she can sort of get up and get a good beat on the enemy. But the thing I really like about the map is that there's just cover galore. Like there's rubble and buildings and all sorts of shit just all over the entire map, and very few sort of wide open spaces apart from the bridge over the moat. Yeah.
And even then, there's a couple of ways around that point, but none of the teams we've ever used it.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love holding that first arch. If you're on defense and you've got a good team that can cover that arch, it's gold.
Yep. So super good work to Blizzard for that one. Looking forward to other new maps coming in future. I'm curious how long it will take before we actually get a new game mode. Although, I mean, technically this one's kind of a bit of a new game mode, given that you have sort of reversed the way that the payload works, sort of pushing the payload and then breaking through to the final capture point. But, yeah.
What? Have you heard of a map called King's Row
Yeah.
or Numbani, which are identical to that?
No,
You
no.
Capture a point and push a payload.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that in the sequence that it is where you do the capture point second and the payload first. So,
Yeah.
this is the
No.
first map
That'd
of
be
that
cool.
type. Because King's Row,
No, you
do
capture the
point.
payload.
Yeah. You capture the payload and then you push the payload to the end. But this map, you get
Capture the payload and push it to the end.
Yeah.
No, you push it to the end and then you have to capture the final capture point.
No.
No.
Oh, don't you?
It just has to land on the point, doesn't it?
No.
Ah, 'cause
Yeah,
I thought you
it's
broke the door
Exactly
open
the same
and
as
then-
King Row and Numbani. You capture the first point and then you push it to the end.
Oh, I didn't realise you pushed the battering ram in through the doors to the throne room. I thought that you had to just capture
shaking
that
my
point.
head at you, dude.
Oh, okay.
Shaking my head at you.
Wow.
That's
okay.
why I'm disappointed. I thought the last stretch was going to be you storming the castle up to the topmost
It
spire
is.
or something, but it
No,
wasn't.
you're
It's
storming
just
the throne room.
yeah, but it's still just escorting the payload. It's as vertical as the end of.
I'm Jamie. I want to
What's
poop on all the parties.
pinata level?
The pinata level.
I can't word, but I forgot the name.
Yeah.
Dorado?
Yeah, that
Dorado.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Pinata level.
You're
Well,
referring
that's
to the
my favourite
pinatas in
part.
the animated clip, aren't you? The soldier.
No, they're in that level.
Yeah.
No, they're in the level. You
You
shoot
can
them
put
and they
them
go.
up.
There's a Diablo one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
You have to remember, I don't see a lot of this extra detail because I've got my graphics
I
settings turned way
know.
down. So
That makes me laugh.
You absolute peasant.
Anywho, speaking of games that don't require ridiculously high fidelity graphics, WoW's great.
Oh, it doesn't require it, but it is pretty cool. With
No,
it.
I must admit, it is the zones that I've been in are super pretty, even on medium settings. So, yeah.
I do have a funny story about that though. So WoW has sort of, big sort of areas that you sort of first land in, and Jam and I were in a high mountain, and just every 5 seconds I was having to stop, and every time I load into Dalaran I have to wait like 10 minutes for myself to appear as a character. And so Jamie's like, what have you got your graphics setting to? Just like turn it down to like the lowest setting. And so I did, and then we went to find one of these like secret caches of treasure. But because I turned my graphics down so low, water had gone from being beautiful and you could see through it and you could see the chest to just basically being like a picture of what water should look like over the top.
Oh, that's
I could
unfortunate.
no longer see it. And I was like, is
like,
this
"It's
what you're
there.
seeing? And
It's
she's
right
like, it's
there."
right there. I'm like, I cannot see through this water. So I had to turn my graphics settings back up again. Otherwise I was going to miss so many things.
Yeah.
That's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
if you turn
okay.
your
I'll
graphics
take
all
you
the
to
way
all
down,
the treasures.
you're
Yeah,
missing all the
you've
stuff.
got like a nose
Jam's
for
been
it.
really
I don't know
good.
what's going on with that. You're like the golden
Yeah,
retriever
have you
of.
never played games with Jams before?
Yeah.
Anything that's like an artifact or find 10 of these, I don't know,
Yeah.
fluffy toys, Jam will find them. I played Halo with Jam. Oh my god.
Skull,
Every
skull,
level
skull.
in Halo was like, where are the skulls? There's going to be a skull here somewhere. I think there was one around here. Oh, for hours we'd spend looking for skulls.
Well, if I ever lose my keys at your house, I know who I'm asking. Not Sneezy.
Nah, mate, doesn't apply to real life. I'm lazy.
Just like how she likes to weed in Minecraft and not in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Exactly.
You've got digital superpowers, but in the real world they disappear. Yeah. So, Jam, you're sort of really finding all of the Legion stuff probably being a bit fresher than Imogen and I have, given that we've played a bit more Warcraft in recent times. How's your experience going?
Pretty good. I haven't played since shortly after Burning Crusade came out. So that's a while. And I jumped in. I made like 4 different characters to try them out at low levels. Ended up leveling up my warrior to 100 with the free boost. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm going tank spec to start with, which I haven't done before. But I'm picking it up and it's fun. But I really love... I've been sick, so I've been off work a little bit. And when I haven't had the energy to, do any intense fighting or shooting in any of my games, I've just been logging on and leveling my fishing and my cooking, and my mining, just all the professions
Level up
where
that
I
fish.
I can just sit in some noob
Fishing's
area.
my favourite. Oh, I love it.
So it's so much fun. I get excited. I'm like, oh, I learned a new recipe. What does that need? And I just run around looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Plays
It's,
game in amazing fantasy world full of limitless possibility. Fishes.
Yeah,
You have no idea how great fishing is. Oh,
it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm finding it a lot more fun questing with you guys than I used to find it. Because I'd often, I know last time I played 10 years ago, the people I were playing with, they'd leave me behind
Yeah.
because they'd just play constantly, and I wouldn't have time for it. So yeah, it's really good. Like if Imogen's not on, we're up to the same quest line, so I'll be like, oh, I'll go do this. I'll, sidetrack and try and
She's
follow my
busy
blacksmithing
overtaking my
quest or
fishing and
something.
cooking levels.
Yeah.
Not happy about that.
No. Well, I mean, didn't you have a pre-existing character, Imogen? You would have had some fishing and cooking
Yeah,
skill.
that's what I
already.
mean. Like I live to fish and cook in WoW. So I really like it, and I used to be the one, who would do all the cooking and excess food and stuff when food used to be important in the game. Doesn't seem to be that important anymore.
No.
No. So now they've set it up so well that you always have healers and things around. But so Jam's doing quite well. Actually, when I realised the other day, Jam, and I don't know if this is the case, but because I had an existing character who had existing professions in leatherworking and skinning, when I boosted my character, I also got a boost to my professions. So what you probably should have done before you boosted your warrior is pick your 2 professions, and it would have given you like a boost up to Legion level.
Neato.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have to go back and learn all the things. So if you're out there and you haven't boosted a character yet, and you've started a new one and haven't chose a profession, choose a profession first and it will give you a boost to that as well.
Now that you mention that, I actually do remember hearing something very similar when Warlords of Draenor came out and the boost to level 90 was the thing. So, God damn it, I wish I had remembered that. That's really annoying.
Yeah, because I only sort of thought about it the other day because Jamie said you were going back and doing mining, so you're going back to the sort of beginning areas, like vanilla WoW basically, to do some of this sort of these mining things. And I was like, wait a minute, mine weren't Legion level, but a couple of them got leatherworking and skinning got boosted. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to go back and skin for 30 levels of skinning.
It's kind of cool though because I'm like getting all of these nostalgic memories as I fly through the noob areas. Like I'll go past Scarlet Monastery and be like, oh,
the Scarlet Monastery. I remember dying thousands of times, pulling way too many mobs.
Yep. Oh, dungeoning together the other night was pretty fun. That was cool.
You have an interesting definition of fun.
Yeah, that one wasn't fun.
that one was frustrating.
All right, that dungeon in particular, which was the Eyes of Ashara? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That dungeon specifically was probably not one of the funner dungeons, but I found it infinitely more enjoyable doing it with you guys. So it's probably the better way to describe it. What I'm tending to find is that I'm really, really enjoying the combat mechanics of the game with a group. When it comes to the questing, it depends on what nature of questing it is. Like some of the stuff I actually quite like just going at my own pace and reading all the content and going a bit slower. But when there's lots of fighting involved, I definitely like being teamed up and we sort of whiz through it as a group quickly. That's a lot more enjoyable. So it depends on what it is. But I think having a mix of the two has been super fun.
We just need to get you some more spatial awareness for your warlock.
What do you
sound like Luke at all?
Giant rock monsters. We were just kind of walking past, like, watch out for that guy. Okay. Oh shit, he's following me.
No. See, Ollie, the issue is that I basically summon a Doom Guard that follows me around, which is a giant sort of Bloodthirster style demon. Which just comes around as a follower, and if I'm not careful, I kind of have to watch where he's roaming. Otherwise, I might be pulling additional mobs and things. So
there used to be, and I don't know if it's still the case, but sometimes when you jump down levels in dungeons, if you've got a pet, it won't just glitch to be next to you. It used to run like the long way around, and so your pet would like come around the corner with like 50 things following it that everyone else is trying to avoid. You'd be like, oh, God damn it. Yeah. So there should be a way for you to dismiss the demon when you were sneaking through areas like that. That would be my recommendation as a hunter who's caused many team wipes.
Unfortunately, it cost me resources to summon it back. That's why I've been trying to avoid it because it's resources that I would otherwise want to use in the fight. So it's a little tricky. So,
Except I died 3 times and had to run back, and we added 20 minutes to that dungeon just so you didn't have to despawn your warlock thing.
Fair.
So
it may
maybe you
have also
despawn
been
it next time.
It may have also been just me being a dumbass, so maybe I'm blaming it on a follower.
I'll send you the bill for my repair for my artifact. That's fine.
There was certainly one instance, Luke, where you were trying so hard to avoid one guy that you backed into a bunch of others.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
Funny.
See, Jam and I we've done a couple of dungeons, and I have to be props to Jam here. Like, Jam hasn't played since Burning Crusade, like she said. And she's taking on the tank role. And for me, the tank role, especially as DPS, you have to trust that person is well aware of what's going on. And I think the tank role and the healer roles are the most important. Because if the tank doesn't realise that one of your DPSs pulled something, like aggro from something, and they don't come and collect it, or they don't have a plan to come and get it from you, or you can't get it off you, then that's it. You lose DPS, and then it's a very quick slide downhill, especially if they're on the healer or something like that. So Jam's done an amazing job learning that really quickly. But at the end of the last one, where the guy's like, "Thanks for running me through. No offense, but I hope your guild's a lot better than you are." And I was like, "Oh man, this is not representative of how I play the game."
We were having bad luck too because our healer, another random we were grouped with, he was on 4,000 ping, so he was struggling to keep me healed. So it was just it was a run of bad luck, I think, for that one.
And the Eye of Ashara, I have to say, I've never experienced it where there's beasts in the dungeon like that. Like there's seagulls and turtles and stupid
vicious
goddamn snails. And they're so annoying.
That was so
oh my god!
funny.
And for whatever reason, no matter how much I redirect any beast, my hunter's mark, they instantly come for me. The threat is me.
It was so
no,
good.
go. Everyone else, go and see the tank, and they do. But the seagulls just love to annoy the crap out of me.
You were getting
Every time we
super put
finished
off by
killing-
the snails last night. Like,
Yeah, every
I
time
thought you were
we
going to
finished
vomit
killing
at
one.
point.
Yeah,
We'd,
well, I
we'd
actually
finish a
have,
boss off, and she'd be like, "What's hitting me? Oh, it's a snail! Get it off!"
I actually have, for listeners at home, I actually have a fairly substantial fear of snails in real life.
They are vicious motherfuckers.
Not because they're scary, because I think they're gross, and then I can't stop. It's gross. I can't stop thinking about how squishy they are, and it makes me feel gross, and I hate it.
And I'm certainly not filing this information away for later use. Anyway.
So yeah, I was like, "What is that? Oh my god, it's a snail!" I was like, "Okay, let's get it." Couldn't do it. It was so gross. Squidging around the place, stupid magic snails.
Yep. No, well, I'm probably not even half of the way through the new story content, and that feels pretty good. I'm, not rushing through. I've covered heaps of it, but I know I've still got stacks to go. So I've got my second artifact weapon now, and I've done 2 out of the 4
You
or
switched
5
weapons?
zones. I just did the quest to get the weapon for a second spec and played as that spec for a little bit just to sort of see if it was going to be better or worse than what I'm currently using. So I'm Orc Warlock. I'm doing the destruction spec at the moment, but the what's the other spec that you sort of start out with? It's the one that does a lot of damage over time effects. Names slipped my mind just for a moment. You know, a lot of sort of decay and sort of poison style abilities. God damn it, I'll think of the name later. But your artifact weapon for that spec is a giant scythe, and I thought, man, that just looks so cool that I want to just go and find it. So yeah, I went and did that. It was good. My first artifact quest was probably a bit more fun, a bit more cool. The second one was okay.
Is it Affliction?
Yes, that's the one. Affliction Warlock. Yep. Yeah, and I'll probably unlock the third one at some point too, just so that I've got all 3. But I'm definitely pumping all of the artifact upgrades up into my destruction weapon as a first priority. Been really, really fun. Enjoying the game a lot. Just it's a very easy game to jump onto and do like a little bit of content and then take a break and even go and work on some of your professions and do that sort of thing. And I like that the story content is actually a bit all over the place. Like it's not just move through one zone, move through next zone, move through next zone. There's a lot of other things that sort of crop up throughout the progression through those zones that are still linked to the main story but are not set in a specific zone. They sort of take you all over the world. So that's very cool. I like how it's not just...
There's also, like, your Val'Sharah, you moved on to your next region. And Jam and I went and completed the quest there, and you didn't need to because we'd already sort of got the quest, so you could go and choose your sort of next thing. But I thought it was really good, and, I really like, in World of Warcraft, exclusively of all games, completing whole areas before I move on, just for story reasons. So I'm glad I did. And got them Chieves, which I really like having. But now I'm in High Mountain, and I thought I'd enjoy High Mountain a lot more than I am. But I haven't seen a lot of the story yet. We kind of just did the initial bit. I also like that it's not formulaic. In Val'Sharah, it was very easy to sort of follow the story along, the story was amazing. In High Mountain, I feel like we kind of went and helped like put out some fires and then kind of poodled around for a bit. And then now you can go and follow the actual story. Like the pace is a little bit different.
Right.
So maybe I'm doing more of like the side questy type stuff before I'm doing the main storyline there. But it just kind of felt like that's the way I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's not just it ramps up, dungeon, and next area. It's well paced and story relevant, which is good.
Yep, I completely agree. The whole order hall mechanic and the followers that you're able to send out on missions is super fun too. And we got to play around with the new Legion Companion app today that got released onto iOS.
good.
Yeah, thanks, Pete, for telling us about that. That's awesome.
Pete had our back on that one, and oh my gosh, I am earning artifact power like you would not believe.
Yep. So the general idea of the order halls that each of your characters have is that you sort of accrue followers, throughout your time in the hall that you can send out on missions in the rest of the game map that you don't necessarily have to accompany them on yourself. And the missions take a predetermined amount of time, so it could be 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. Sometimes I think you can even go up to 8 hours or even a day. And then your followers come back, and there's a percentage chance of success depending on who you send and what abilities they have. Now, of course, one of the things that is relevant there is that if you send them out into like a mission that's going to take, say, 4 hours real time, then you may not actually be on the game 4 hours later. Like it might be bedtime, or it might be, you're at work during the day or something like that. But this new phone app actually allows you to manage your followers' mission status remotely. So, like I was today, where I was sitting on my phone at work, because I do that occasionally. Yep. As everyone does. And I was just like, okay, cool, my mission's finished. Rather than waiting for tonight to send them on the next one, I'll just off they go. And then by the time I log on this evening, they will have completed a whole bunch of other stuff and got me some more loot, which is awesome. So really enjoyed it.
Looking forward to logging back on and collecting all of my stuffs.
Yeah, exactly. So highly recommend. If you want to do a search for that, it is just search for Blizzard Entertainment on the iPhone, the iTunes store, and it's called the Legion game app. There's another
Legion Companion.
WoW Legion Companion. Yeah, there's another World of Warcraft sort of armory app, which is pretty cool as well. But that's not the one. That's an older one. I think that's designed just to manage some of your more general stuff. So yeah, it's good. So. Other gaming during the week, I finished off the One Night in Karazhan expansion for Hearthstone, the adventure, I should say. So the final wing of that was the Spire, which opened up and I played through. And the Spire had a really awesome game level, which was called the Portal Room. And there was a mechanic used on this one, which I've never seen in Hearthstone before. It was really quite unique. So you basically have two portals on your side of the board that are actually feeding into the enemy boss. One of the portals basically gives them Wind Fury, which allows them to attack twice. And the other portal gives them like a level of protection where they can only take 1 point of damage at a time from any attack. Now, you can actually prevent them from getting those buffs by playing down creatures next to the portals, and it interrupts the beam that sort of goes from the portals to the boss. And the way that you place your minions actually interrupts the beams in different ways to give your own minions the abilities. And so, like if you wanted to sort of prevent the enemy boss from having Wind Fury, you stick a minion down next to the Wind Fury portal, and then you get to attack twice instead of them. But the cool thing is that the AI of the boss actually, it was really intuitive for this game, and it sort of was able to tell what you were doing and counter accordingly. So it would always attack the things that would sort of lower your defenses and raise its offense again, rather than just sort of attacking blindly. So yeah, it was a really challenging level. It was quite cool. Different for Hearthstone. Haven't seen anything like that before. So again, there's been quite a bit of innovative stuff on this adventure. It's been a nice departure. But unfortunately, the final wing, just like the last one, was still kind of easy. So I think difficulty levels sort of dropped a little bit on this one.
You're just too good, Luke.
No, I've just got a larger
Can you do them on a higher difficulty?
You can. In fact, there is the you can do like the challenge mode to complete all of the levels again, like on an expert level difficulty. And I have completed challenge mode for every single one in Karazhan now, and unlocked the special card back that you can get. So I am completely done with it. I've done the lot. So there you go.
Good job.
That's actually
On
the first.
both accounts.
No, just the one that matters.
Doesn't count then, Luke. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's actually the first adventure that I've gone through and done all of the challenge levels on as well. I haven't actually completed all of those for the previous adventures. So, yeah.
Missing out on content, Luke.
I'll get back to it. It's not going anywhere. It's only a card back. I don't get extra cards or anything. So
wow, how the times have changed.
Yeah.
Different tune all of a sudden.
Too busy playing other Blizzard games, man. Just get distracted.
Wizard games.
Yeah. That's it. So, yeah, it's good. Probably not going to be any new Hearthstone content for a number of months now. I think we're due one more full expansion before the end of the year, so I'm anticipating they'll probably say something around BlizzCon about that. Maybe even make an announcement at BlizzCon. I'm not quite sure, but the timing usually sits around there, I think. So, yeah. When is BlizzCon this year?
I wonder if it will be Legion themed. It's the same weekend as PAX.
It is. Okay, so it's the first week of November. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think it will be Legion specific, and the main reason for that is because Hearthstone's got this thing where they tend to do their own spin on content with a lighter sort of look at it. Like even One Night in Karazhan, it was very much like a disco sort of party theme rather than the grimdark Karazhan that you would know from World of Warcraft. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I like it when they do their own unique stuff. I think it's a much better fit for the game brand, personally. Gives that point
I
of
just think
difference.
at the end of the year it would be cool for them to have some sort of tie-in and might kind of buoy interest in Legion, but I know that they've got a lot of big raids and stuff happening at the end of the year.
Well, Karazhan
So we'll
kind of is the tie-in because that's going to be the next bit of raid content released. So, yeah, I don't
an
know.
upgrade to it, yeah. Interesting.
Yep. All right, let's kick into some gaming news of the week, of which there is a little bit. So we did mention before at the top of the show that Overwatch Season 2 competitive play has kicked off, and it actually kicked off early. They started at 5 days early, which was a nice little surprise. So it was pretty good. So, Ollie, how does competitive Season 2 differ from Season 1? What are the improvements that have actually been made?
So the ranks now are not 1 to 100. They're now done by points from 1 to 5,000. And so you'll have different tiers of play now as well. So you'll have bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster, which, now that I think of it, doesn't really work with the numbers, but that's fine. But yes, so there's different tiers of play. There's no more overtime, which is brilliant. You can actually get draws now.
Best change ever.
Fantastic feature. They've tweaked some bits and pieces. There's a new map, which we talked about, which is really cool.
Yep.
There's new emotes, which is really cool. So you can sit down or you can laugh at people, which is great.
What was that sitting down trick that someone was saying yesterday?
Yeah, we discovered that. It's very tricksy. And so what happens is when you sit down, you go into a third-person camera and you can use that to see around corners.
Ah, okay. It's
That
interesting.
is sneaky.
Like, you get a very good line of sight around corners. I may or may not have used that a couple of times.
Can you actually do it quick
How
enough
do
for
you
it to
sit?
be relevant?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did it with Genji.
Good to know.
I was like, oh, should I ult? I'll look around the corner. Yes, I should. In I go. It was interesting. It's not, like, abusable or anything, but it's a cool little trick.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of
I
cool
wonder
little
if
tricks
they'll
throughout the
fix
game.
that.
I
They'll
don't
leave
see
it.
how.
Yeah.
You could already do that really with some of the other emotes.
That's true. Like the thing with the emotes is, it does go third person. So
Yeah.
But it's very good for if you're waiting for your team to come up for you. So, because the sit lasts indefinitely. If the enemy team's hanging back and all you need to do is keep an eye out to where they are while your team's like running back or whatever, it's super useful.
yeah, true.
Yep. It's good to know.
But yeah.
Nice.
What else was there? There was a few other changes. Oh, the way the rewards for the system go. So rather than getting just 1 point for your various unlocks, you now get 10, but the things are more expensive, which I was a little disappointed they didn't release any like smaller rewards.
More achievable ones. Yeah.
Yep.
But I do now see that you get, instead of 1 point, you get 10 points. Everything's multiplied by 10, essentially. But I did notice you get 3 points for a draw now. So I think that's sort of maybe one of the
that makes
reasons
sense.
why.
Yeah, it was like, if you're going to like give us 10 more, but then times everything by 10, then you've not really made a change. But if you do get something for a draw,
Yeah, you
then
get stuff for,
that's
you don't get
good.
anything for a loss, but you do get stuff for a draw.
So you're
Well,
basically
yeah,
saying
that
that
makes sense,
the ability to make the scoring more granular is a good reason to
Yes.
widen it. Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
the same reason they made the leveling wider scoped is so that they can fit more things into it, make it feel more rewarding, like partway through a level and those types of things.
Yep.
So-
I'd agree. I was a little disappointed too, and someone I was speaking to the other day made a really good point about this, and that's that if you only have one set of rewards available, and that is the golden weapons, then over time, because they're the only thing that's attainable, more players are going to attain them, so they're less of a unique item.
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually diversify the market by having some other items in there that people are going to spend their points on, then the golden weapons become even more of a sort of pinnacle item to aspire to. So
Yeah,
I
but
completely
it's certainly not
agree.
at that stage yet. I think I've only seen a couple of golden weapons ever in my playthroughs.
Yeah, but it is just a matter of time,
Oh
essentially.
yes, of course. Especially with the second season as well. I think more people logging on, the season's a little bit easier. So anyone who was sort of initially playing the first season and then felt a little bit hard done by will probably at least be checking out this one. And those competitive points will be building up in people's accounts ready to go. So
Yep.
anytime now.
No.
Certainly not going to happen for me for some time.
Well, that's all right. I mean, it is something you can just work out for ages. I mean, it's kind of similar to the ranked wins in Hearthstone that eventually get you the golden player portraits. It's something that if you're not, particularly awesome at the game, you can still compete on that level. You just have to spend more time doing it. Basically, you just grind longer. Yep. Which is cool.
Got really excited the other day. We were in the middle of a match, or at the end of a match, and I said, "Woohoo! I reached level 39." And Ollie's, "Wait, you mean 139, right?" And I was like, "No, just straight 39." Just straight up 39.
Way to make you feel this big.
Yeah, I do not play a lot at all.
Yeah. No. Well, anyone who owns a console in the current generation will be able to check out Overwatch for free coming up this weekend. So there's going to be a free play weekend for consoles between the 9th and the 12th, which I don't know how that works. I assume you just download a free digital copy of the game. Yeah.
It's a demo, effectively.
Yep.
I'm really keen. I think I'm going to check it out. I've always wondered, because we played it on the PS4 at Respawn, I've always wondered what it would be like to play with controller. So
yeah,
it'd be cool. I might give that a go if I have any spare time.
Yep. That super spare
And
time.
I'm not playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Now, last week before we sort of signed off, we did mention that there was a impending Nintendo Direct sort of presentation that was going to be going live online. So the Direct presentation happened. It was themed this time specifically around the 3DS. So they actually, took great pains to say that, no, we're not going to be leaking any new details about the Nintendo NX at this one. It's going to be purely 3DS focused, which is kind of cool that they got ahead of the game and sort of made it clear. So, expectations were set. And we were kind of, scratching our heads a little bit and sort of wondering, well, how much 3DS stuff could there be coming? We know there's a new couple of Pokemon games. What else would there be? Turns out quite a bit. So one of the big announcements was that Super Mario Maker is coming to Nintendo 3DS. The Wii U game is going portable, but there's going to be a few changes to the way it works. Now, Ollie, because you're the one of us that has sort of played the most, or any Super Mario Maker on Wii U, I was curious to see how you think the features are going to line up sort of between the two different versions. So the 3DS is going to have a limited functionality. Some of the features won't be appearing. What differences do you think are actually going to matter there?
I genuinely can't think of any features that are super, what's the word I'm looking for, processor intensive that the DS couldn't run.
Mm-hmm.
The game designer is super simple, unless there's obviously a lot of coding in the background or whatever that I'm just not aware of.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently the mystery mushroom is not going to be a thing.
What's
I
that?
can understand that, because then it's not having to load 150 different skins or whatever. So that's fair. I understand that one. But yeah, most of the big database stuff, essentially, like the mystery mushroom and anything like that. But I guess maybe some of the note blocks, maybe? I'm not sure what they would...
Is the mystery mushroom like an RNG power-up? Is that kind of what it is?
No, so the mystery mushroom is... So on the Wii U version, you have all these different skins you can unlock.
Mm.
So they might be Nintendo characters or things that have had partnerships with Nintendo's, say if they get a celebrity map maker on, so from one of their Japanese talk shows or whatever. If you complete those maps, sometimes you unlock a skin, or if you do the various challenges with the maps and whatnot, you can unlock skins as well. They're essentially, the different amiibos and stuff like that.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah, so a little bit like that sort of themed of characters, essentially.
Mm.
And so you can unlock them, and the mystery mushroom literally just picks any one of those at random. So you could be a car, you could be a little Japanese girl, you could be a plain man, you could be Paper Mario, whatever.
Hmm.
So I can see why that's not on there, because that's having to preload a lot of different skins, because I think there is about 150, if not more now.
Wow, okay.
Of those. So I can see that, but every other function shouldn't be super like graphic or process intensive. It's Mario. So
Well, I'll tell you the one that I'm a little concerned about and why I would maybe hesitate to pick it up for myself. Because I love the concept of Super Mario Maker. I think it's probably one of the coolest new ideas to come out of Nintendo in a while. I would love the idea of using the stylus on the 3DS with the bottom screen to be able to drag things when you're using the level creator. I think that'd be really handy. And probably even easier to use in some ways than the Wii U version. Although I guess you do have the touchscreen.
the Wii U has a stylus.
Does it actually have a stylus? I've never used the stylus.
Yeah.
I always use my finger. Okay, fair call. The thing that I don't like the sound of is that there's going to be limited support with the levels that you can download and play onto the 3DS. So they've sort of said that, not all levels that are sort of made on the Wii U version are going to be compatible with the portable version, and that players, while they'll be able to create levels on the 3DS, they won't be able to upload them to the internet for others to play. And that, to me, kind of sounds like one of the coolest features of the game not actually existing in the 3DS version.
Wait, so if you make it on the 3DS, it's only available on your 3DS?
It's only available on your 3DS and shared wirelessly via local connection. It's not able to be uploaded to the internet. So, yeah, that's the one feature
That's quite shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But one of the huge things about Mario Maker is being able to share your maps and being like, hey, world, look at my cool stuff.
Exactly, yeah. And the whole point is that you can only share levels that you've actually managed to beat yourself, isn't it? You've got a limited
Yes, you have to
there.
complete your own levels.
Yeah. So it basically
Which
forces
means
you
a
to
lot of
not
people
make
put
levels
cheats in,
that are impossible kind of thing.
Yeah,
So-
tell that to half the user base.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it seems that you could still create levels on the Wii U and then play them on the 3DS, or for the most part, like nothing with the Mystery Mushroom, for instance. But yeah, just not the other way around, which
Which, to be fair, is still kind of cool because you could be like, oh yeah, I feel like playing some of my levels on my DS on the train or whatever. That's fair. But I agree. It should be compatible both ways. And apart from a few little features here and there, I can't see why it shouldn't be. I'm sure there's actual proper logistical reasons why, but I just can't think of any.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so I mean, a few other bits and pieces announced. You can obviously find all of the 3DS direct news and the stream itself online. New 2D Pikmin game. There's new Yoshi stuff. But one that actually caught my attention, which was, I've been waiting for this for so long. Anyone who's actually still using their 3DS to do the Street Pass games, so the wireless sort of local mini games that are built into the 3DS, you can actually. One of the things that really annoys me with Street Pass is that you can only Street Pass up to 10 people at a time at the moment, which means that the games that you play, and there's one in particular which is like a dungeon quest game where you basically, as you Street Pass people locally with your 3DS, it loads their avatars into the game for you to use as warriors for the dungeon bash. And the fact that you can only take 10 of them at a time is a really limited factor because it means that you sort of get to a point where you have to stop and then load out of the game again. They're changing that with the upcoming update so you can actually load up to 100 people at once instead of 10, which is super good.
Oh my God, you're going to have a queue a mile long at PAX.
Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, places like PAX is where this is really going to matter. So you won't have to check your 3DS every 10 minutes and flush through the next lot of 10. You can just sort of leave it for an hour and then come back to it. So yeah, that's going to be good. That's going to be real good. So, I mean, to be fair, I see a lot less people doing the whole Street Pass thing on 3DS these days because, mobile gaming is a thing. And this year, I suspect that Pokemon Go will probably eat up a bit of that time from people. But yeah, no, it's still a much needed feature. Maybe coming a little late, but it's good that it's coming at all. So yeah, happy about that. Which is good. So on the topic of Nintendo stuff, there's been a little bit more Pokemon Sun and Moon stuff released during the week. It seems that there's going to be an in-game photo sort of feature, which is going to form a bit of a mini game, so like a Pokemon Snap kind of callback to the original Pokemon Snap game. But the thing that really made me chuckle during the week is they released footage of a new thing that's happening with Snorlax. So Snorlax, of course, is
yes, I saw this.
You saw this? Yeah. So it's the giant sleeping Pokemon that's been in just about every version of the game to date. And he's actually got this thing that happens now, and I'm not sure if it's a new ability that's unlocked or if it's a new item that you have to use. But basically, it's like a enraged Snorlax. So he wakes up and then just goes fucking crazy, like red eye glowing. Just, I mean, how would you describe it, Ollie? You've seen the clip. What does he look like?
Hulk smash.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good description. So you wake him up and he's real pissed. So yeah, it was hilarious. There's a whole bunch of sort of memes that have popped up around the place with people sort of taking the snippets from that video and just, just seeing Snorlax hulking out and just going nuts. It's really funny. So if you're interested in that, you should check that one out. So I guess talking about Pokemon, we should probably just mention a little bit of Pokemon Go news that's come up. So a lot of the sort of traffic around Pokemon Go seems to have cooled a bit. I think the hype has died down quite a bit, and now we're sort of left with the core player base. And news of new features is slowly but surely dribbling out from Niantic. But we got the first big confirmation this week that one of the upcoming features that they're going to be implementing in the game is a buddy feature. So have you guys seen
Buddy
this?
feature. So exciting.
Yeah.
I've already chosen who's going to be my buddy.
So do you know how it works? Can you give the rundown?
Yeah, so the new buddy system for Pokemon Go will basically mean you get to choose one of your little mons in your collection to stand up alongside you. Basically, it'd be like your Pikachu if you were Ash, so it doesn't sit around in a Pokeball waiting to be battled against somebody else. It'll actually be out there and walking around with you. Mm-hmm. So when you open up your little screen in Pokemon Go, you won't just see yourself standing there anymore. It'll be your buddy Pokemon. And early sort of reports suggest that you'll be able to, as you walk, collect candies for that specific Pokemon. And it says, create a lifelong bond with your friend, which I think is adorable because this system is only going to be people walking around with Magikarps just to get those candies.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking, but it's also a lot of Magikarp. So if you don't, have a ready supply of them, that's basically all it's going to be is like Magikarp flip-flopping alongside trainers.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I've already chosen who's going to be standing next to me. I think I'm keen for it to be a little Charmander. I want to work on my Charmander. And he's super cute. So
yep,
it'll be a really nice little feature. And I think it sort of adds another element of individuality for people. And in a way, if you're not necessarily in an area to catch lots of Pokemon or get lots of candies, that you can concentrate and level up and evolve Pokemon. So I think it's a good move. So that'll be coming out later this year, I believe.
Yep, it's good. It takes a little bit of the chance factor out of whether you're going to encounter those Pokemon and adds a little bit of control into being able to get candies for some of your favourites and evolve them if they're really hard to find. So that's good. Yeah. Nintendo's had a busy week actually. So amongst all of the sort of Pokemon and 3DS announcements and that sort of thing, aside from Pokemon Go actually, which is not Nintendo specifically, it's more Niantic. But Nintendo has been on a copyright claim rampage this week. Have you seen any of the?
I saw the news and it surprises me because Nintendo are usually well on top of their copyright stuff. So why are they going on a rampage suddenly? Did they take their eye off the prize?
I don't know. It might just be a concentrated effort in very, very similar categories of copyright claims. There's about 500 to 600 different independent titles that they've been asked to remove Nintendo-related content from them or just complete takedowns. Nintendo sort of independent games are a thing that I think that they're actually really keen to support now. And in the Direct, there was actually a bit of commentary. They've started to use the terminology Nindies now, so Nintendo indie games.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they've actually mentioned that by name, and so it's obviously a thing that they want to support, but I think that they want to retain sort of fairly tight controls on it so that they, can, ensure the quality is there and the partnership with Nintendo proper as opposed to people going off and doing their own thing. One of the things that kicked this off recently was there was, the Metroid 2 remake that was in the news recently, and that was sort of ordered by Nintendo to shut down, which was a shame, again because it looked like a really really cool fan project, but again, when there's money to be made and that's on the table potentially, you can understand why the company protects its copyright. Not to mention the fact that if they don't, then it's a lot easier for other entities to sort of take their intellectual property and use it if it's undefended and becomes tricky in court to sort of say, hey, we're in the right here when the courts can turn around and say, well, why didn't you defend your intellectual property on these other previous situations? So you have to, establish a precedent. But it's just been a big thing this week, and we've seen quite a few of those takedowns. So, generally, I think it's probably a fairly healthy thing for them to do that, but it just gets noticed when it's this many in this short a space of time. So, it was interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
From a company standpoint, it makes perfect sense. From a community standpoint, it sucks, but it's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. All right, so Telltale have been in the news a little bit this week, so they've made a couple of announcements around some of their forthcoming titles. So Batman has had Episode 2's date finally announced now, which I believe was leaked just before PAX West began. So the Episode 2 for Batman is going to be coming on the 20th of September, and it is entitled Children of Arkham, apparently. So don't know exactly what that's going to mean. Be interesting to find out. I just really hope that they fix the PC running issues before it launches because, oh my God, the last episode was a shitfest. So, seriously, if my game is going to be stuttering at 5 FPS, then I'm less excited about playing Episode 2. Yep. So, really hope they sort that out.
We're going to go back to that cake analogy. It best be baked.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs some more time in the oven. The story was great, don't get me wrong, but yeah, when the gameplay is that bad, it really does suck. Walking Dead, though, which is probably one of their, if not their most successful property, Season 3 of The Walking Dead will be kicking off in November. No specific date, but that one's been in the works for quite a while and will be hotly anticipated by anyone who's played the previous 2 seasons. Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 were phenomenally good story-wise, really, really excellent. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead in general, I highly recommend them. Season 3 is going to be interesting, though, because they're starting off in a fairly different location than where Season 1 and 2 were sort of situated, and there was some major character deaths towards the end of Season 2, which will change depending on the decisions you made, so I can't really spoil it for you, because however you played it will be different, so yeah. But it does mean that if they're planning on bringing back any of those major characters into Season 3, then they might have to do some sort of interesting branching narrative situation where it could literally be one of a few different major options, and the game would have to sort of read previous save data from the last title if you were going to do that. So don't know if that will work or not, or whether they'll even attempt it or just sort of start fresh. It's anyone's guess, sort of moving forward. So.
Quick question, Luke. You've played both now, and I don't know anything about these games, so that's why I'm asking.
Yep.
Do they both use the same graphics engine?
Yes, they do. Yep. I think that the quality of the graphics evolves a little bit, but they're very consistent. So, yeah.
Then I wonder why the Batman one has so much problems then if they're using the same engine.
Well, look, I don't know if part of that is that I'm playing Batman on PC and I've played the other ones on iPad. So there might be a difference in how it runs that way. The main reason why I did that is because I've got an iPad 2, which is by the standards today getting quite dated, and mine's filled with a lot of stuff. Like it doesn't have a lot of space on it at the moment. I really need to delete some apps. But I thought it would just be easier to play on PC. Given that I do a lot of PC gaming these days. So. But yeah, it's one of those things that now that I've made that decision, I'm kind of maybe regretting it a little bit. We'll see. Yeah. You'd think that it would run smoother on PC, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just surprised to hear it is all.
Yeah, well, apparently the number of people having major issues was in the minority, and it's probably graphics card related. That they may have some issues with compatibility with certain graphics cards. But, I'm obviously within that minority, so I had a crappy experience with it, which is not great. So, yeah. Anywho. So, Duke Nukem. Who remembers Duke Nukem as a game from a long time ago?
Remember the really fun originals and the really shit remakes.
Did you play the remake, like the 2011 remake specifically?
No.
Nope.
Not for very long.
No. Well, I'm very glad that I dodged that bullet because that seemed like a really bad experience waiting to happen.
He was all out of gum.
Yep. But, I think it's fairly unanimous that the best Duke experience, the sort of premier nostalgic experience was the original Duke 3D. And I spent many afternoons in my schooling days sort of playing multiplayer with people. Good old Duke 3D. So Gearbox Software have basically, about a year after settling a massive legal battle to retain the exclusive rights to the Duke Nukem franchise, they've announced that there's going to be a remaster of the original Duke 3D coming out on the 11th of October on PS4 and Xbox One, as well as Windows PC via Steam. It's only going to be $20 US. And it's going to be called the Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary Edition World Tour. And it's going to have a little bit of new content as well, apparently. So the composer, Lee Jackson, has created an all-new music score for it. There's 8 new levels for the game that are being added from a couple of the original designers. And even the guy who did the original voice acting, John St. John, he apparently has been brought in to update the game with some fresh one-liners as well. So, yeah.
Awesome.
That's going to be pretty cool. That was totally out of left field, but I loved the shit out of that game when it was out way back then. So, yeah.
I'm intrigued to see how much of that was rose-tinted glasses now. Like, how well it holds up is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, look, I would probably agree. I think for its time it was pretty revolutionary, but when you start, getting into the later sort of Unreal engines and things like that, first-person shooters took a massive leap forward, and this would certainly be feeling quite dated now, I think. But who knows?
See how we go.
Who knows? It's just a nice little cool bonus bit of content that I wouldn't have expected otherwise. Yeah. And we've got some PlayStation stuff happening. So Sony has the long-awaited press conference to announce the future of PlayStation. We're currently sitting at about 9:30 p.m. On Wednesday evening. The press conference is going to be happening and streamed live at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning for us. So we're just a little bit too early to sort of be able to chat about the contents of that at the time of recording tonight. So we're probably going to find out about that real soon. But who knows what's going to get mentioned during that. I did see that there's rumours of some potential Mass Effect demo content being shown, maybe. Could be some Dragon Age stuff as well. There was some hints that the Dragon Age next, I guess, movement in that franchise might be featured or mentioned or something. Some Twitter stuff that happened today which was pointing in that direction. PSVR as well, I think will be probably a fairly big talking point, given that that's going to be coming out real soon.
Exciting.
So,
yeah. And they've already announced and confirmed for PAX. So I'll be watching the announcement with keen interest, because last year was the one I still haven't had a chance to play, when I learned about Unravel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Set up announcement before PAX last year. So super keen to see what comes out and to hear what's next for them.
Yeah.
And more and more every day regretting my choice to go Team Xbox, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, it was actually funny. I was having a chat to the group today about the new Recore game that's coming out, the Xbox exclusive in a couple of weeks' time.
Finally an Xbox exclusive. Woo!
Yeah. I mean, that does seem to be one of the big
Took you
ones.
long enough.
I mean, Gears of War 4 will probably be the next big one hitting after that, which is going to be not too long afterwards. Yep. And I'll probably pick up both of those games and play them, but they'll be the first sort of batch of serious time that I'll put into playing on my Xbox as opposed to doing things on PlayStation. So that'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's PlayStation announcements, and I've already forgot the name of that game. The Brave crossed with Wally.
Last Guardian?
PlayStation exclusive. No. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it. Anyway, it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive that's coming out later this year that looks amazing. And we talked about it at length at one of our previous episodes. But I think depending on what's announced tomorrow, and that being a PS4 exclusive, it might push me into being a dual console owner, which is a bit much.
Yup.
We'll see.
Yep. Could be good. So the PlayStation VR apparently is going to launch with a demo disc as well. So they're bringing back the old retro demo disc strategy, where there's going to be about 8 sort of demos for upcoming PSVR games on that disc. Just for try out and get a bit of a taste for virtual reality on PlayStation, which is kind of cool. So
it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. All right, so moving into the topic of the week, which of course, because it is the first Wednesday of the month, it is our Party Game of the Month episode. And what are we reviewing this week, Jamie?
Ruby, Grimm Eclipse.
Ruby. All right.
I'm glad my voice was with me when you cut to me unexpectedly. Damn.
All right, so what do we know about Ruby? Now, Imogen, you're pretty familiar with the anime franchise, as it were. So give our listeners a rundown as to what the heck Ruby's all about.
Well, Ruby is an acronym for the 4 characters that make part of a team. It's based off Rooster Teeth's anime series Ruby. Basically, it stands for Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang, and they are 4 individuals who attend and live in this universe that is overtaken by Grimm, and they're going to be huntresses, and their job is to be trained and then to hunt down these Grimm, but there's this big reflux, and they're expected very quickly to do some very adult things about saving the world. So this is Rooster Teeth's game that they have released around that same storyline, which is basically based on like a mob wave type approach. Survive the waves, protect the objective, those types of things. Yeah. It's been really, really good. Each character has their own different role to play. If you're going to talk about technical roles, you've got tanks in there with Yang. You've got your DPS and casters and things like that in Weiss, Ruby, and Blake's, I think, much more of a rogue. You've got to be a lot sneakier with her. So it plays to everybody's strength. So it's a really interesting premise for a game. How did you guys find it?
I was fascinated about how the characters would translate into the game, actually. And it made me think, as I was playing, I had a conversation with Ollie about this way back to, actually it was the first Australian PAX, I think, looking back to, what was it, 2013? It was our first PAX Oz? Yeah. So that was actually the weekend, and I remember it well that Ruby, the first season of Ruby actually debuted. So Rooster Teeth were on hand at PAX, and they actually showed, all of the sort of
preview animations.
The preview animations, yeah. There was actually a clip for each of the 4 characters, and I think they actually launched episode 1 the weekend of PAX. Now the preview,
it was less than an hour after their panel.
Oh, that's right.
On
Yeah,
the first day, they were like, and if you tune in like 30-something minutes, the episode will be live.
Cool.
And we were all, woo!
Yeah. That was awesome.
Amazing.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, Ollie, because you may remember this or know a bit about it more than I did at the time, because you actually showed me those videos back then. Each of the characters are kind of based on like a loose interpretation of a fairy tale heroine, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah. So Ruby is sort of loosely based on Red Riding Hood. Weiss is loosely based on Snow White. Blake is loosely based on Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And Yang is Goldilocks. Is that on the money?
Sure, let's say that one. I don't actually know what Yang's based off, but let's say yes.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, and I'm wondering how much of a fairy tale sort of tie-in there is with all of that, because obviously, the Grimm being the foes that they're fighting are, kind of the woodland beasts, gone wrong. And I wonder whether that's a direct tie into Grimm's fairy tales, but I'm not sure. There's probably a whole bunch of loosely connected mythology that
say it's a fair bet.
Yeah, that people who are a little bit more attention
thematic.
to detail will know. Yeah. So on that topic, like the thing I was most curious about with the game itself was how well the theme of the anime would be reflected in the game. And I think that they hit it really well on most areas, but there's a few that I think are lacking. The character voicing obviously is exactly the same voicing as the anime. I think that the way that they move and the way their characters are represented on screen with all the banter and that sort of stuff is pretty much on the money. Biggest disappointment for me in terms of alignment with the anime is the lack of supporting cast. The fact that it's only the 4 main characters and you don't really see much of the rest of the ensemble of other characters kind of is a downside to me. I was a little disappointed by that. What were your thoughts on that, everyone?
Well, I mean, the game is called Ruby, and I guess I was picking it up knowing it was a 4-player, so I wasn't really expecting the other teams to be in there. So I didn't see it as a downside. I quite enjoyed playing it. But I guess if you're a fan of the anime and you're more of a fan of some of the other teams, that could be a detractor, I guess, if they're not in it.
Yeah, not necessarily as playable characters, but just kind of featuring into the story somehow is kind of what I'm getting at. Even if they're sort of present on the background or, referred to or on comms or something like that. It would have just been nice to sort of know that the world is a little bit bigger than, the space that you're running through, which is essentially like a wild open wilderness with, ruins and things. So,
yeah, this is their first in-house produced game. And, there's nothing to say. I mean, it's called Ruby Grimm Eclipse, so it sounds to me like it's almost like an episode.
Yeah.
This is a thing, and there'll be a Ruby something else, and maybe there'll be a Ruby versus one of the other teams or something like that. That'd be really cool. For me, it would be nice. There'd be lots of things that would be nice, but I think for what it is, I think it's are good. I don't feel like it was missing an awful lot. It's definitely good at ramping up the difficulty when you're in multiplayer.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fair. Ollie, what were the mechanics like, to your opinion? So, as a sort of
fight
character
mechanics
brawler?
themselves?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, do you want to give us a quick rundown of how it works and then your thoughts on it?
Yep, so it is a brawler at heart, so it reminds me immensely, and feel free to correct this, but does it remind you of the way that people fight in like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know
Yep,
what it
that
reminded me
style
of
of
a lot,
fighting.
actually? It reminded me of the combat that you do in all of the Batman Arkham games.
And Devil May Cry. That's the other big one.
Yeah.
It has massive Devil May Cry themes, and that's fine. That's not a bad thing at all. You have a couple of different attacks in there. You have your melee attack, you have a ranged attack, you also have some special attacks. Each hero has 3 different attacks. I had Yang, so I had stuff like the Quake Power,
Which is cool.
which
Yeah.
is ridiculous and great. Was a big fan of that one. Not actually sure what the other characters have power-wise. I think Blake gets shadow clones or some other sorts of bits and pieces like that.
Yep.
So that was pretty cute. But yeah, the fighting style itself works quite well. You can get some like combo hits going on, that sort of thing. As you progress through the game, you do level up your abilities. So you do get stronger. So there is a small RPG element, I guess, in that regards.
Yeah.
So that
And
was
a
quite
talent
nice.
tree type style.
Talent tree.
system.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.
So yeah, combat-wise, I quite enjoyed how the game played. For me personally, I found it though very repetitive. So the way the game plays, animations are nice and clean. They flow well. That's all good. But the game itself, I found, just essentially does the exact same thing over and over again, and that got for me personally, very, very repetitive. I could not play more than 40 minutes of it at a time
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of that.
Well,
It's a fun game, but it's not for me, it's not a long sit-down game.
No, it's not a super immersive experience for sure. Yeah. Out of the 4 of us, I was just going to say Jam's probably put the most hours in, and just before we started recording tonight, you were literally on the final boss fight of the entire thing. So,
I literally started 4 hours before we started recording.
oh wow. So,
Yeah, so because I've been sick and had all this other stuff going on, I had not done my homework. So I was like, oh, I should really jump in and, at least put an hour or 2 in. I started with Yang, wasn't feeling it, moved on to, is it Blake?
yep.
Wasn't feeling
Black
it.
one? Yep.
And then I went to Weiss and it clicked. And I actually started just screaming through the storyline. And then when Imogen popped on and we were going to go to multiplayer, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end. I'm
Yeah.
just going to push through. And then I got to that final...
I'll be
the
off in
final
a
boss
minute.
fight. I know. I thought it was going to be quick. That boss fight took forever. It's just got
Yep.
so much more health and everything else. But it was fun. I enjoyed getting better at her techniques. But it was very repetitive. Didn't pay any attention to the narrative. It was just like a red dot pops up on screen. I'm going to smash it,
Yeah.
And it took longer than it needed to because the whole game crashed on me right at the end of the 9th chapter. And I had to restart that. But yeah, it was good fun. When you guys jumped on and we managed to get 3-player multiplayer going, that was really enjoyable. But I was kind of hoping it wasn't a playthrough of the same storyline.
Right, like
That it
unique
was-
content for multiplayer you were hoping for?
Yeah, or some kind of,
Brawler mode or something. where it's
Yeah,
just wave
waves
after
of-
wave after wave or
yeah,
something.
yeah, just something that kept the pace going because the storyline as it is, there's just a whole bunch of running and then fight, and then just run and then fight.
Yeah.
And sit and listen to a few sentences of narrative so that the fight can start. It didn't really...
It's the thing, like, I think it's a good game and I think it was fun, but I definitely agree, like, the repetitive thing is there. And I think for me, I will always see it as like a warm-up game. So that's what I was saying to Jam. Like, it'd be cool if before the podcast we could jump onto like a 4-player, something like this where we can just pick it up, put it down. And we
Yeah.
don't become too obsessed with it, just to sort of warm up and those types of things. And so same way as we go into sort of quick play for Overwatch, it's just sort of, right, let's just, get all of those Twitch reflexes happening again. And
I
so,
feel like...
it's not something that I'm doing to play like, oh, the storyline was amazing. think the gameplay is great, and I agree it's all clean. And the best thing about Ruby, the anime, done by Rooster Teeth, is the combat. So the biggest concern for me was that the combat wasn't going to be as good because the scenes are amazing and the way that they pan around and those types of things. So
I've watched most of the fights on mute because the voice acting shits me to tears.
I love it. I love it.
I think the game, I think they can make another one, and I think they can improve on this formula.
Yeah.
I think they need to improve the fighting such that you've got bigger mobs, but you can string more combos together, like the Batman series.
Yeah.
Because then it would really start to feel like the show. But they need to string it together with some kind of storyline or I don't know. Not just running from point A to point B for the sake of getting to the next fight.
The running part that's
Because you finished the game, how many different enemies did you end up versing? Like, how many different mobs? Not counting bosses. How many would you say?
Not a lot.
There's only one boss, isn't there?
Of the Grimm, like proper boss,
Yeah.
The Grimm have, gosh, are there 5 or 6-ish? And then you've got the little radioactive ones, and then there's a couple of robot types.
So less than 10
maybe
all up.
6?
There's not more, but probably 10-ish. There's not a heap of variety.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's one thing I noticed very quickly, is there's not a huge amount of mob variety, and that means that the gameplay is less varied as well.
Well, aesthetically, they look
gameplay
very
style
similar
should change.
too, because they're all sort of black and white with the red glowing eyes. They all
and that's
look
fine. That's
Well,
I can live with
not
that.
all. Early on, those are the ones you see. There's some
you
different
see some
types
different
of
There's
ones.
ones.
androids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which just goes along with the story and the anime as well.
So for me, the big pluses were the movement and combat. Like, I thought the combat was very smooth, and I felt like, especially playing with a control pad, it was a very fluid experience. It was quite fun. Everything was pretty fast moving. I always felt like I had complete player agency over how I was attacking and where I was moving and that kind of thing. That was really good. The art style and the setting was beautiful, but I just thought it was way too sparse. Like, you were kind of moving through these wide open vistas, and there really wasn't a lot in them. Like, it was kind of wide open spaces for
There's a very good reason for
fights.
that.
Yeah, I can imagine if you put it on like nightmare mode or something, that those wide open spaces become not so wide open spaces anymore.
Possibly, yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it would have been good if there was a little bit more to interact with. But I mean, that probably lends itself more to the gameplay comments than the scenery, because the scenery was
I'd actually
generally
say
good.
it's an engine thing more than anything else.
Yeah, that could be true too.
I actually
yeah.
genuinely think it's an engine thing, and that might be as well why there's not those other teams as playable characters, just pop-up heads here and there, because of the limitations of the engine. Like, you look at the character models, they're not polygon intensive, and that's fine because that matches the art style of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, the engine itself is not great, so that's why it's probably at the level it is in that regards.
That's fair. So
The only thing I would ever add to it, just as a my wrap up, is it would have been nice to have a little bit more direction as to combos and buttons and things. Maybe sort of like a training mode where you're like, right, you've got to go out and do this like back in the academy or something like that. I think that would be on theme, and it would give people a chance to sort of practice, or you could practice as a 4-player, like doing your sort of team attacks. Like, we kept doing them by accident almost. And they were quite cool when you could do them, but it would be great to sort of get the opportunity to sort of practice them. But I guess the nature of the game is that it's repeatable, so you do it again and again, and that's how you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, some more direction around buttons and controls and things like that would have been great. But generally, I enjoyed it. Just as the game as it is, I could see it being improved greatly. But as it is, it's a great little game.
yeah, it's a good foundation.
Would you say it's unfair to say it's not worth the $25?
Yeah, I think the 25.
It's
I
not a
bought it on
$25
sale.
game.
I bought it on sale, so I got a little bit less, but it is pretty steep for what it is.
Yeah.
It strikes me as a $10 game, not a $25 game.
Yeah, I would have gone between 10 and 20, so about $15 or so. I probably would have gone, yeah, okay, for sure. But yeah, 20. I mean, considering this is the party game of the month, and this is one of the more expensive ones we've done. Compared to some others like Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
Which are around the
Darkest
same price
Dungeon.
point. So
Yeah.
I got for $15. I got this one as well for just under 20 because it was on sale.
Yeah.
And yeah, Darkest Dungeon, like value for money wise, absolutely obliterates this game.
yeah, which
And
doesn't make this
that's-
a bad game. But
No, it doesn't.
yeah.
but it does make it like you're basically at that point going, well, why haven't they been able to attain the same standards? Because they have the creative team for it. They easily do. Like the animation's there, the story writing is there. They have good story writers. They just haven't been able to implement it in the game very well.
Yep.
That makes
I
any
think
sort
it's
of
one
sense.
of
I'd agree.
it's the if we go back to I got to thank Patrick from last episode for giving me the cake analogy, because it's just going to throw back to the cake analogy all the time. And for these guys, it was their first foray into making a game, and what they wanted to make sure is that the game wasn't buggy and that it was clean and well done. And I think in that regard, it's done. It's a whole game. It's got all of the elements there. It's fun to play. It's got a good multiplayer. The multiplayer matchmaking is amazing.
Multiplayer was
super quick.
great. Yeah, super smooth.
So-
Yes,
quick.
I have to give it props for that. The multiplayer worked very well.
yeah, but,
You
but
just
on
sort
the
of
same
create a
level,
lobby
though,
and bam, we're in the same game and done, and no latency, no nothing.
on the same level in terms of value, though, like I think if you're planning on buying the game and only playing it single player, you're actually missing out on a whole bunch of the value. Like you really want to try this game multiplayer. I think that's a
agreed.
huge fun
I completely
experience.
agree.
Yeah.
I played it one session single player, one session multiplayer with randoms. And yeah, I agree. Multiplayer is where this game is at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point where I'd almost be tempted just to, if they ever get it coded properly, the single player should have bots for the other team members.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because the game works so much better with the full team.
Yep. I'd agree.
Like, easily. But then that's a whole nother thing. Like, to go with the cake analogy, Imogen, because I'm going to go with that cake analogy now, I like to think they've done a really nice base for the cake. Like, the main core of the cake is great. There's just no icing or extra stuff on top.
Yep.
No.
I would agree.
Yeah. So I do think maybe a little bit high on price point. So definitely, if you ever see this on sale and you have a group of friends who are regularly on Steam, pick it up. It's such a great little fun game to
It's
play
definitely
multiplayer.
a summer sale game.
Summer sale game, yeah, for sure. But I think as a game itself, bearing in mind where it came from and potentially where it can go, I think it's great. Good recommendation, Simo.
Was good. So speaking of recommendations, we have to make a selection for next month's Party Game of the Month. So
Oh, please don't be. There's one game on that list that I do not have time to play.
Can I just ask everyone who's listening, can you just please recommend World of Fishing so that it gets on the list? Because I want to put these guys through some fishing.
if you want to
trauma
do
or
fishing, we
something.
can do that in World of Warcraft, Jamie.
I know, but I want to. It came out yesterday. I think
While
it would
we're
be
at
hilarious.
it, if someone could, someone suggest World of Fishing, and then if someone else could then put on our Facebook page, Farm Simulator. That'd be cool.
No, don't do that. Anywho, if you want to recommend a game to us for our Party Game of the Month segment, the way that you do that is you let us know via email, via Twitter, or via Facebook. So that's
that you want to see World of Fishing?
Yeah.
Or Farm
Hush
Simulator.
up, you. Hush
No,
up.
Who's going to
Shower
catch
simulator.
the biggest brim? Come
The
on.
email
Shower
address
simulator.
is mail@partyloaded.com. You can hit us on Twitter @partyloadedshow. Facebook, we are facebook.com/partyloaded. Just drop us a comment there. Now, the guidelines for around what games that we're looking for to include as part of the segment. We want something
World of
that's-
Fishing.
No, not World of Fishing. We want something that
Adorable
costs
animals.
Hey, come on.
$30 or less US, so nothing too expensive. It has to be available via digital download,
Luke.
so we don't want to be
Like World of
hunting
Fishing.
around for game discs at stores.
I'll just drop it from the call, Luke. It's okay.
Yeah, that's good. Let's do that. We also want something that is not a platform exclusive, hence the digital download, and something that we can actually reasonably finish in around 10 hours or under to get a feel
Because we
for
don't
it.
want to be fishing around in physical stores for it.
That's right.
Hey.
Yeah.
Drops mic, walks out.
But anything that is so good that it gets us hooked is fine as well. So
See, there we go. There
job.
we
Luke,
go.
you'd have so much fun with that game if we
So
played
many
it.
fish
All of the
puns.
puns.
I think you're out of line, Jam. Anyway. So we have a list, and Ollie, do you have the randomizer device, TM?
I have the Eldritch six-sided device,
All right,
yes.
excellent.
Ooh, my WoW companions finished their quest.
Nice.
Neat.
I guess.
All right, while Jam
I
does
should
the
say,
Legion
I
thing.
genuinely don't have the podcast plan. We have a podcast planning sheet, by the way. Spoilers. I genuinely do not have that open when I check this.
Nice.
I roll
so
my
it's
dice
always a
completely
mystery
blind.
to you. This is
It's
so
always
exciting.
a mystery. That's why there's always a pause of like, oh, what did I get? So
This is
I
like your
genuinely do
Christmas
not know.
Ollie.
There's a
Yeah.
rare peek behind the curtain for everybody. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give it a roll. What do we got?
Behind the magic. I got a... Oh, fuck, that went behind my monitor. 2 secs. I've got a 4. What is a 4?
Oh, man. I do not want to
What
play
is it?
this game.
4
Luke
is
always
my
gets the
suggestion.
rolls.
Okay.
Yep.
Luke just put this in. That's not fair. Luke's had so many.
Not fair.
To be fair, though, the last
Mine's
2
never
of
been
my
rolled.
suggestions that have rolled
Neither
up
is
were
mine.
good games.
World of
I recommended Darkest Dungeon. I also recommended.
That was on
Blah,
my
blah, blah.
recommendation in the first place.
Sure, you can take part of the credit for that.
I will take all of it.
Helldivers was mine as well, and we all had a good time with that. So,
That's fair. I'll give you that one.
yeah.
I think we need to mix up where Luke's suggestion goes next because I think we've had a
Well,
lot of
no.
3s, 4s, and 5s.
I've been sitting on number 2 for the longest time, and I
Exactly.
refuse
So
to
we need
move
to
from
put
it
you.
because it's gonna get got.
I'm number
Number
1,
2
to be
will come
fair.
up.
Since like the beginning of this.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the game in question is the recently released last month, in fact, Deus Ex Go for mobile. So, the Go series, not related to
You
Pokemon Go, of
captured
course.
Jensen's
Yep.
in a Pokeball.
No, that's not it.
And when you capture him, he goes, I've never asked for this.
So I have to walk. Is this exercise related?
No, it's actually a puzzle game. They've done similar. I don't know if it's the same studio that's done all 3 of them. I think it might be. So there was Lara Croft Go is the first one, and then we had Hitman Go, and Deus Ex Go is the most recent one. So it's basically a puzzle style game played as a mobile game, so on your smartphone, and it's using the characters and sort of settings of the Deus Ex universe, obviously. So. Should be a nice sort of simple one for us to get through. And as far as accessibility, we'll be able to play this one on the go rather than needing to sit at home and do it on our
man.
PCs. So yeah.
Oh, man.
So there you go.
Why?
There you go. Yeah.
The worst.
Anyway, we've got a whole month to play that, so plenty of time to get it in amongst the legioning. Just Jam, you'll just have to shut down your Legion app every now and then after you finish sending your followers out on quests and load this one up and have a bit of a play.
Yeah, no,
so.
they've got 3 hours now. I gotta wait.
No.
Yeah, I've got to stay up until they finish something in 2 hours so I can send them out before I go to sleep.
Well, if you're going to stay
Damn
up
it,
to
bad
2
timing.
hours, Imogen, you might as well just stay up and watch the Sony stream and let us know how that goes. Sound
You
good?
have bad mathematical skills. It is only 10 o'clock at night. I am not staying up another 5 hours to watch that, no.
I probably will.
Luke is a cool guy.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right, we'll tune in same time next month for the exciting results of that gameplay. We'll see how it goes and check out Deus Ex Go. All right, well, plans for the week. What's everyone doing gaming-wise? I'm going to be
Overwatch.
legioning. I actually need to get back to Abduction. Like, I feel like I've neglected that one after, cracking it open and looking at the GUI center and then abandoning it for World of Warcraft. So there's still plenty of puzzling to be done in that one.
What? World of Fishing?
That's Waff.
Get back to your fishing. No.
Jamie moves to Waff.
Jamie was doing a lot of fishing. Okay. All right. Well, ladies, I hope you... Well, no, not ladies. Actually, no, I'll go with ladies. Ollie and Jam, I hope you're feeling better. I hope you can kick the plague, kick it, and, hopefully actually feel good rather than taking time off and spending it at home and not actually having enough energy to play games. That seems like a fate
I
worse
know,
than
that's
death.
the worst. What the hell is the point of being sick when you can't game? Like, seriously.
Can I please request that you both wear like full hazmat suits for our D&D game on Friday?
Yeah, except I'm going to be yelling
Spitting in
commands
every
across
drink.
the table, so you're all going to get got.
I have an assignment due next Tuesday and an exam after that. So if I get sick again, I'll be so
Ew.
sad.
Now, I must be past the contagious phase now, so you can blame Ollie.
Must.
Yay.
All right.
Ollie's so sick. Ollie's so sick.
I'm the plague master.
Fully sick.
Fully sick. All right. That is it for us tonight. My tongue's getting
Luke's
sick.
brain is officially shut down.
Yep,
He's done.
I'm
We're
done.
out.
All right. We're out. See you next week, everyone.
Bye, friends.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.